Hey, welcome to another logo day. This is logo number 6 in a series that we're putting together leading up to the robotics and automation contest, where the competitors will have to write a program that will sequence the traffic light in its proper order. What we want to do today then is our latching relays are going to be put together with an input 1 and 2. So we use the latching relays. And then we're also going to use the on delay relays, but we're going to have it output driven. So each output that we have on here, for example, our yellow light 1 will be set up so that when it comes on, then it will drive the counter for our red light 1. That in turn then will drive the output for the yellow light 2, and so forth and so on. And we'll, when that gets all the way done, we're going to use a retentive relay delay that will reset itself and actually then reset all of the relays, so that this will be a continuous circle until we push the latching relay, until we push the stop button, and then the whole system will stop after it times out. So let's get started. We've done the latching relay before, and that is way at the bottom. So let's start with that latching relay, and knowing then that we have to have 2 inputs, we're going to grab an input number 1, and we're going to grab input number 2. So these are push buttons that we have on the board. And again, I've always say that when you put the system together, you always want to put the input into the top one. Well, this one requires 2 inputs to be able to push the system on and off. Let's go ahead then and label these, and these actually are in the proper inputs at the top. So then let's just call this button number 1. And then we can change the font if we like. I like this one right here. Sans, there we go. And then down here, we'll put button number 2. Okay. Okay, so those are the 2 push buttons that we have on our panel. Push button number 1 will start and latch the relay, hold it, and hold it, and hold it, and then button number 2 then will release that. So let's go ahead then and add the next piece. So we want to be able to continue to have this reroute on itself. So that's why we're going to do the retentive relay, which is right here. And we're going to set this up into the system. And again, this one is only going to come again from the top. And then when we get all done, when we have all the relays set and all the outputs set, then we're going to come in here at the bottom, because this will be our ability to reset this particular relay. As long as this push button 1 and 2, as long as it's sending a signal here, it'll continue to reset our relay and continue to move on and on and on around in a circle. All right, so next, let's go ahead then and put some of our outputs out here. So the first thing that we want to do is our on delay set this up right here. So this will be for the yellow, this will be for the red, this will be for the yellow, and then this one will be for the red. So try to get all this on here and then do a split screen with what we have in terms of our logo machine. So we want an output now. So let's get our first output in there. And if we remember correctly from the last time we were together, that yellow light, oh, I better change this first. The yellow light is attached to relay number 5. And if I change it, change that number, now I can write. So I'm just going to abbreviate yellow light 1. Oop. Yellow light 1. Okay, so we'll connect those again to the top, to this, and then actually then we're going to take this to this one, and then as soon as this times out and runs up into this first output, when this lights up, then it'll trigger and head down here for the bottom. So we are going to set this up so each one of these is going to have a number 10, so it'll be 10 tenths of a second, and we'll be able to watch that countdown when this thing gets rolling. All right, so now we're going to repeat ourselves. So we are going to put an output. This output then will be number 6. And this will be red light. And number 1, it's the way we have it listed. This goes into here. We'll trigger a set of 10. Output goes to there. So when the red light 1 gets on, it will trigger then the counter here to turn on our next light. So let's set this up. So 10, we'll have it all the same thing. And then an output. This is number 7. And this will be yellow light 2. Okay, we set the timer. The output for this one goes to here. So you can see how each one of the outputs, once it turns on, it then drives the next relay to count. What's going to set this all in motion then is our retentive relay that when it sees its signal, it will reset and everybody will start over. So you'll see them all start back at 0 when it starts to count. It's kind of cool, actually. All right, so then the last one, number 8, relay number 8, and that is our red light. number 2. Okay. And thought I'd change these fonts. Changing the font's not a big deal, but it just looks a little nicer when you do it. And remember, YL stands for yellow light. RL stands for red light. Okay, it's just a matter of spacing this one out. Let's move this guy down, let her up. All right, now here's where it gets interesting. So now this last output is going to go all the way over here. So let's get this line set up. Okay. So you can see that it goes all the way to the top, but let's pull it away from here so we don't get confused. All right, the other thing that you can do is there's a little symbol that we can put on there. Depending on how big this gets and how complicated your wiring diagram can be, you can use this little guy right here, which then is a cut connect type of syndrome, is that if I touch this line now, you'll see then that this is connected. So we could have then this set up so that we have the 2 wires, and we could do this up into here and down into here so that they would be connected, and we don't have to see that. So, but I'm going to go ahead and delete that because we have plenty of room to put this wire, and we can move it out where it's real noticeable for people to see. It's real nice, and there it is. All right, so I always recommend, I gotta set this timer. I always recommend that you run the simulator first to make sure that it functions correctly. So the simulator here is the top. So now you should be able to watch. This simulator is kind of blocking the way. Can I move this down here? Let's try some. See if we can move this line up. Try to get our simulator in there. All right, there it is. All right, so here we go. Oh, it's already started. So you can see it's counting down. Gets to 10, this light will come on. Here we start to count on this one. Gets to 10, that one will come on. Drives this one. And as soon as this gets to 10 and gets input up to the top, it resets all of the counters and it starts again. Pretty darn neat. All right, so we know the simulator is functioning all right. We're slowly losing our camera height. Getting late in the day, getting kind of droopy. So there you have it. All right, so now let's turn that one on. And you'll notice then that this has shut this relay down. So there's no signal coming through here anymore. So this will cycle one more time and it should stop. because we have no more input here. Cycles one more time through, and then it'll quit. You know, and this would be like a manufacturing process where we just don't want to yank the part out right in the middle of its cycle because it could damage the machinery. So we want it to cycle through before it shuts itself down, and there you have it. So we know it works. It functions beautifully on the simulator. So let's go ahead then and work with the real logo. And I have the lights set up a little bit differently this time, so maybe we can see them a little better. And I have a little background mood lighting to go along with it. So let's see what happens. Well, the first thing we do anytime we're working with the logo is to go, first of all, online and have it find all of the pieces. We do this every time that we connect to the logo. And hopefully it'll find everything. Still waiting, still waiting. All right, I'm going to go offline here quick. And I'm going to pause the video just a bit. I'm going to go talk to the... Okay, we're back live. I didn't have the green cord plugged in all the way. So let's try it now. And the logo machine wasn't running a program either. So I just didn't plug the green cord in all the way. So it's important. Dope. Now where to go? All right, well, let's see if we can do the next part of it. So let's go ahead and test. Let's test the machine. Now, we've already connected this, I don't know how many times, so it knows that this is the one that we want, and this is the one that we're going to target. So let's go ahead and go through the process. It'll tell me that the IP address isn't the same. I'm okay with that. It's going to find a little more Java that it wants to add. I'm okay with that. Now it's going to hunt it down. And with any luck, yep. So it talked to it, it found it, so we're good to go. All right, so let's download it. So the download button is this guy down here. It's the arrow, the down arrow. Let's push it, let's send it on over. It'll tell me to turn the device off so it can actually download this. And there it goes, and we're gonna stop the device. Okay, so now I'm gonna go over to the panel and I'm going to push the button. Now, watch what happens then. You should be able to see the timer start to count. The first timer should start to count down, and the latch relay will latch at the same time. So is it working correctly? First one 10, next 10. I wish we could see the relays counting down though. Number 2, yellow light number 2 is on, and then red light number 2 is on. Once it sends a signal to that red light, bam, it goes ahead and then resets. Resets the whole works. Okay, now, let's go ahead and stop it. Oh. Now, as we said before, it'll have to run through its cycle, and then it'll shut off. What do you see happening? The first light comes on, next light comes on, the yellow light, number 2, comes on, and then instantly when this red light comes on, it resets the whole thing and turns the whole thing off. The red light never really does come on. It comes on instantaneously and then it shoots out a signal. So what could we add down here to slow that up just a little bit, that we could then make sure that the red light is going to be on before it triggers this end? Couldn't we put another relay down here to slow that up? Let's put another on relay. So let's just delete this for a minute. And let's add another on relay right here, in which then, before we shut the system off, we're going to give it another 10. So that before that trigger fires, we'll have that red light come on for a little while, and that's kind of what we were asking it to do, rather than just instantaneously go off. Why can't I get that? I want to pull that line over. There we go. Come on, baby. Okay, so let's do this. Let's drop this down like that. And then straighten that out. Pull this out. It's not cooperating. Okay, so do I have to grab the blue one? Alright, I'm going to hit the escape button. Let's see if that helps. Boy, this bugger doesn't like me at all. Hey, so we got some problems just with the lineage. And it won't let me get over there and put that on that side. So what did we say we could do? We could take this piece, cut it right here. There we go. And now we know then that we don't really need to drag that line all the way across our product. We know that it's going to be right here that it connects to. All right, so let's go ahead and start this up again. The thing that I want to do though is that I have to download this again because we did some adaptations. So let's just see if we can get this downloaded. And it did. And did that download correctly? Let's just do it one more time. Okay, the device is running. You want to stop? Yep. Okay, there it goes. And we want to run it. Okay, so I'm going to go over and push the button then. And you should see the same sequence. But this time, before this fires and resets our system and our trigger, this will stay on then to a count of 10. So at some point then we'll have all 4, and that's what we wanted to begin with, rather than having the red light never come on because the trigger energized it too quickly. So there's our first one. There's the yellow. Wait 10. We got the second. Should have the third any moment. There it is. Now here comes our red one. Okay, so now we got all 4. Wait 10. And then that last relay then will reset, send it up to the retentive relay. Boom. And then we start the process all over again. So this could be a repetitive manufacturing process that you've set up. And the thing of it is if we turn this off, we have to let it cycle through itself so that it does not, possibly injure the product or injure any of the equipment. We just have to let it wind down naturally and come to a full stop when it completes its cycle. So we'll let it run one more time. There's our last one. Counts down. All right, so it's into its third cycle. Now I'm going to go ahead and push the stop button, and then we'll watch and see what happens. Still continuing the cycle. Here's number 3. There's all 4. And with any luck, this time it'll shut down and it'll stop for good. Okay, so there's the end of our cycle. Now, the idea behind this is that each relay drove the output, and then the output then drove the next relay. So everything was cumulative on itself, and this is what we're going to need to do. Instead of running all of these pieces in parallel, we've ran them in series now, so that the individual output then began to set the counter for the next one. And when we start doing this project for the stoplight, it's going to be very important as to understand how this functions. So, hey, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me for logo programming number 6. And we'll have another episode number 7 here. I'm not quite sure what we'll do, but there are other relays that we want to try to get at. The other thing that I want to take a look at before we get too far is being able to set up weekly timers, and then we'll have this little bell set up so that we can maybe time out some bell schedules. So hey, we'll see you next time.